Yes.
Okay, Hillary's title is actually Director of Health and Environment.
Wait a second. Is that,
That's mine.
that's the second one. We
Oh, is
didn't,
that the second one? Sorry,
back in April, we hadn't met Hillary yet.
I'm not fully focused.
But that's, no, we're happy to have you here. Can I have a motion to, accept the April 26th meeting minutes, please?
I motion to accept.
Second, please.
Second,
Okay, we'll do a voice vote. Francis Lewis, yes.
Linda
Saul
Dorfman.
Fisher, yes.
Joanna, yes.
Yeah,
Karen, yes.
so that's 6-0 on that one.
Kate Logan, yes.
Thank you. Now we're going to, so the first one was 6-0. Okay. We have one absent person today. The second minutes are the minutes from July 19th. And those are written by Linda, and I'm looking for that note you brought up. CPA, let me look at the photos. I'm looking for her title.
It was at the top of the minutes.
Oh, okay. So she put the new town health administrator, Hillary Lemos, and her
Title, Director of Health and Environment.
Director of Health and Environment. You got that, Linda? Yep. Okay, the new town Director of Health and Environment. All right. There was one small note that I had picked up, but Linda's already corrected it, on the Higgins property. She had Hillary attending and it was me. So we changed Hillary to Francis. So that's been taken care of, and Director of Health and Environment can be taken care of. Great. So can I have a motion to accept those minutes, please?
I so moved.
Okay,
Saul Fisher,
second, please.
Second,
All right, a voice vote. Francis Lewis, yes.
Saul
Karen,
Fisher,
yes.
yes.
Kate Logan, yes.
Yeah. Did I hear you, Joanna?
Joanna, but yeah, yes.
Okay, so that's 6-0. Thank you. Right. All right, great. All right, moving along. On to the open space plan management update. We have not had a meeting. So there's nothing to update on that. The only thing I can add to those that didn't receive this is that Hillary sent out a notice that they were finalizing a research tool called Outer Cape Shoreline Management Data Hub, where they're compiling all kinds of information like low-lying roads, certified vernal pools, mass wetlands, priority habitat, etc. So that could be a good tool. Oh, Hillary. As I look out, welcome. Nice to see you.
Nice to
That
see
could be a tool that Shana could use and we could use for OSRP, I was thinking. It seems to have a lot of data in one spot. So that could be very useful. All right. Anything else that anyone else has heard on the OSRP land stewardship? All right, so that is going to be picked up again in the fall.
well, Francis,
Go ahead, please.
now that we have Alex, who's very experienced in land stewardship, I think we really should use him to help develop those management plans.
Right,
And maybe we can get some forward momentum on them finally.
right. We hadn't really even done much with the land stewardship plan. The meetings we had were focused on the OSRP.
Yeah,
Right, right.
Yeah, but we did get, those very expensive bids that we didn't want.
Right. I remember that now. Seems like that was an age ago.
Another year, it feels
Yeah.
like to me.
You know,
Maybe two.
late winter, early spring, yes. All right, well, that's a definite. And, well, Hillary, Alex is working, Alex Bates. Okay.
Yes, he started 2 weeks ago and he is in the office getting his feet underneath him. I've taken him out to Wiley Park, so he did one of the land surveys with me out there. He's been following up, so he's figuring it out, and he couldn't make it today because there was a Conservation Commission network meeting of all of the agents on Cape Cod. So that's where he is today, but he will be joining you at the next meeting.
Super, well, we look forward to meeting him and working with him. Thank you. Okay, well, then the next item is conservation restrictions. Here again, there's nothing to report because we were waiting to meet our new conservation agent in September. And we were going to ask for his help on following up, continuing to follow up on the conservation restrictions.
So I did, Francis, follow up with Shayna and Jackie about where those were in the process. And so I did get some information back from them, but I have not had the chance yet to read what they had wrote back to see where they are in the process. So there was maybe incremental movement, but not a lot, but it is on the list of things that we're going to tackle.
All right, well, we're keeping it on radar, which is very important.
Just-
Joanna,
Hillary, yeah, just a question. Do you know where are they at the state or are they still stuck in Eastham?
No, I think they came out of the state. I think
Okay.
they came out of town council back to us. And I got confused because they called it the umbrella CR, and I thought umbrella might have been the name, but umbrella meant multiple properties on the same CR. So, so
Okay.
it came out of town council. I think it has to go back to the Conservation Commission for a signature, and then I think it goes off somewhere else. But
Okay, well, if it went to the state and came back,
yeah, no, I think it went to town council and came back.
okay, so it has not gone to the state.
Well, this is where I got conflicting information from Keith and my fellow town employees. So I have to,
Okay, because,
Heard.
well, just so you know, town council did redline that whole combined policy. They sent they did all their changes, and it was then supposed to, so they were done. Our town council was done with it. It came out of them. And it was
okay,
supposed to have then gone to the state with whatever changes town council recommended. And so if it's still stuck here, it's a whirlpool eddy.
okay. So this is what Keith told me because I texted him. I was like, I don't understand.
Okay.
So was the thing that we have CRs on. He said, I do not believe it's the umbrella because I thought umbrella was the name. He said, Mark was the one who told me we had an umbrella CR at our own town council. So you must have worked with Mark Robinson to get it to town council. And then Keith said, I have seen it. I don't think I printed it out and added it to the CR open space file. So I think that there's a pile somewhere on a desk that might have something in it, but I think I got a more useful document from Jackie and Shayna. So I think we just have to navigate the process and clarify exactly where we are.
Because Mark Robinson, we paid him to pull it through, and that was a number of years ago now. So.
Okay. So there are
Okay.
multiple pieces that I'm trying to meld together here and make sense
Great.
of it.
Good luck.
Yeah, no, we're definitely working on it. So
Okay,
just know
super.
that. Yeah.
Thanks.
thank you. It sounds like there ought to be a better way. I mean, I'm looking from the outside, I haven't been involved with it, but a lot of people with a lot of time and a lot of frustration. So maybe from this, after you see this, we see this through, something can change.
Oh, just
Yeah.
one last comment on this.
Yeah.
I will point out, it is now the I'm losing my words, CPC, the Community Preservation Act Committee is now very aware that the purchases using CPA funds for open space have not done the legal requirements for many properties. And so from here forward, they're not going to go back and say, you know, and pull back money. They can't. But from here forward, having the CR at least off to the state will be a requirement for the final report for CPA funds, because it's not a closed out project until that is done. And so we have, anyway, I'll stop there, but now CPC funds will be dogging things in the future, that they don't get stuck with town council for 5, 6, 7 years, which is unacceptable. Okay, thanks.
That's interesting. Well, good. All right. So we'll bring it up again. It's always on the agenda. We'll discuss it September. Okay. Anything else on conservation restrictions? Okay, moving on to Wally Park, please. The monitoring program. It will end, the summer monitoring program is going to end this weekend. And Ed Daniels and Mike Harnett have received copies from every monitoring session. And at the beginning of the summer, my understanding was that the Conservation Commission would review all the data that was given in and make any recommendations as they see fit. Thank you to all the people who participated, and Kate for making the sign-up sheets, and the people that worked on the forms and that went out. It was certainly, you know, a group endeavor. And I, you know, from my 2 cents are that the things we talked about in the spring, with the needed signage, that was verified by my outing, so that when we have the staff available to do it, we'll try to get that piece going. Anybody else on the monitoring? Okay, well, thank you to everybody that participated. Thank you, Hillary, for going out and bringing Alex.
I enjoyed it. It was kind of fun.
I did enjoy all those walks, for sure. There was, Rob Young told me that there was maybe it's been addressed, there was a tree that had come down near where the fencing is to protect the new plantings. So I haven't been there. I'm supposed to go this weekend. I didn't go last week, so I don't know. But it seems like there's always something to do with Wiley. Also on Wiley, we talked about trying to protect the pond health more with signage, reusing the restrooms. And we know we needed assistance on moving forward with that. Perhaps the Board of Health, Rec Department, National Park Service or DPW. Can we get some next steps on that, so we can follow up on that, Kate? So it'll be, because you're the one who brought it up for the busy season. So Hillary, were you there for that?
I was.
You have any suggestions on how to proceed to?
I haven't seen anything done around that issue particularly, but we can certainly, you know, come up with some signage, but we're going to want it to be effective and sort of in the right place where people can see it. So I just think perhaps, you know, we can work on that and reach out to the rest of the towns and see if anyone has anything that they're using, because it's not a localized problem.
Right, well, we can add that to the huge list of working on signage that's already been created. I know that Keith was involved with maybe that can be part of that process when we really get down to all the signage that's needed at Wiley. So we can add that in there. Although it's got a different slant.
Well, and I think we would probably want the sign at all of the recreational beaches, right? Not just at Wiley Park.
So the rec department would really be involved. All right. So would this be something we bring up with Alex or just? work
Yeah,
with you?
I think I can ask him to reach out through the Conservation Network just to see if other towns have a sign that they're using or if anyone has contemplated it, because that would be a good starting point.
All right, could you do that?
I'll ask him.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Any other thoughts on Wiley Park or any comments people want to make? All right. Well, as I say, it was a summer of activity and thank you to everybody that helped with that. The next item on the agenda is the Higgins property dedication. On a Saturday morning, it was July 22nd. It was a very successful event. Joanna had invited the Higgins family. We had the generation that came together and donated the land, and then their children and grandchildren. So it was lovely. It was a lovely event. And we had pictures, and Joanna came up with a nice text. And Kate has posted that picture on, was it, can you hear me, Kate?
I posted it on Instagram through our Eastham Open Space page, as well as Facebook, as well as on the Eastham Cape Cod community page on Facebook. And it got a lot of attention. It got a lot of likes, a lot of positive comments. It really, you could tell people were really, happy to read a story like that. The community loved it. It's definitely the most likes we've gotten on any post. And we gained at least 10 more followers just from that post.
Well, it was a very nice event. Thank you, Joanna, for helping to organize that.
Yeah, that's great. I don't do any of those things you just mentioned, but it sounds like a good long list and other people do. And the Higgins family, they were just so pleased. So that's great. I wonder, Joyce Higgins said she was going to go talk to John, the owner of the abutting land on the other end, that near where the other sign disappeared. I doubt she followed through with that, but Hillary, I wonder if you have any follow-up on, did the town, with our disappearing sign and our intrusion, is there any?
No, silence. There's been silence.
Wow.
I think Paul is planning on actually going over. I just spoke with him yesterday and he's going to see if he can find anything out, but I doubt there will be anything conclusive.
It would be, I think really it would be great to try to meet our neighbor there and, just say,
Yeah.
Hey, what can we do to get along?
Yeah, I'm happy to go with Paul also if that's useful. So he
Okay.
doesn't have to go. He doesn't have to go it alone.
Yeah, well, and again, Jackie knows some history there, so I think we need to just, go and try to change the course and, of that history and say, this is, we want to be nice neighbors. How can we?
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks.
This can be long-term, obviously, but just when we're looking at our different trails and areas and what we want to do to improve them. Paul had mentioned that the entrance where, next to the gun club, I can't picture it right now. I have to go back out there, but he felt like maybe there was opportunity to on the town-owned section to expand the parking area there, or like the entrance area, delineate it more. So just something we can kind of put on the docket for down the road when we have funds.
I can picture exactly what he's saying because I live near there. And where there is now, there's like one car there. And then you're practically half in the woods parked. So if they cleared out, I need more than 2 or 3 cars, because it's not, people go and come, it's not,
Right.
but it wouldn't be a lot. Karen, I have your hand up.
Yeah, do we want to put in a CPC application for that?
It's a good idea.
Because that's coming up quickly. The deadline will be November 1st for anything we want to do there. Same thing for the work we wanted to do at Sandy Meadow. We need to get kind of moving on that. But
It's a good idea. I think so. What's the rest of the group think?
Well, the parking lot would be at Cross Cart on town land. The 3, and it wouldn't be paved or anything. This is
No.
like
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
kind of- it would just be cutting out some more bushes.
yeah, the CPC funds paid for the parking at Sandy Meadow to be created. So there's some precedent.
nice.
So I think maybe even I mean, it is a woodsy area, so you wouldn't want to make it too parking lot looking.
Yeah.
But maybe, I know Joanna had the idea of getting a signage there that's the entrance, the way to get to the Higgins property. There is
Exactly.
also a smaller sign, Higgins property this way or something like that. Hillary, please.
I was just gonna suggest, we should bring Alex in on this because this is truly his specialty. So I would have him draft up a plan for you. I did send him out to all of the properties so he could have a look around, but I would let him know sort of what your ideas are and then task him with developing the plan for you because that's totally in his wheelhouse.
Sweet.
That's what we need. We need somebody who has expertise. So
Yeah.
suggesting before the September meeting, I'll wait till he meets us.
Yeah, or if you guys could compile a list and get it together, we could ship that off to him. He could go out, have a look at it with your list in mind, and then come back to you with a plan.
All right, before September.
I mean, if you want to get an application in by November, we probably want to get him on it sooner rather than later, just to make sure he has enough time to work on it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Joanna, please.
Yeah, just so you guys know, I'm the rep to CPC, Hillary. And I don't know if Alex has done one of those with Orleans, the OCT, but he probably has, so that'd be great. But we'll get to Sandy Meadow, but that's the other one where Nicole Payne felt that extending the ADA trail there would mostly be using Department of Public Works resources, and she was going to think about whether we would need something additional from CPA. But again, that's something Alex could help us think about. The first meeting, the public hearing for CPA is next week. This 5 o'clock, September 6th, is the opening. Paul Legg opens it and it slides about what CPA is. And if anyone out there is already in the public or wherever, already thinking about applying, putting in an application for anything, it's a good time to come to the meeting, attend the meeting, and bounce ideas off the committee.
When was that meeting? Just so I can let Alex know.
September 6th, Wednesday at 5 o'clock
Okay.
in the Earl Mountain Room. The CPA opening public hearing. And then as it was already mentioned, the deadline for applications is November 1st. And that's, it's a hard deadline for getting, the core part in, but the additional things like letters of support and details on costs and stuff, there can be things that come in later than that. But November 1 is when the committee wants to know what's coming in. So super.
Yeah, and if I might, just in a related note, we're entering the town budget season. So if there's funding we want for something else, we really need to consider that and get that in front of Jackie sooner rather than later. Like funding, adding funds to the conservation fund, for example.
So this email to Alex ahead of time would include the ideas about the parking lot,
Mm-hmm.
And also talk about the extending the ADA portion of the trail at Sandy Meadow.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, we were looking at an additional 950 feet or so for that.
Right, there was some paperwork there. I don't know if he's found everything yet. But I know Keith and Nicole had worked, so there's some planning that's been done on that. Okay. That, anything else on Higgins? All right, well then moving into the CPA applications. We have, Hillary, we had one that's near completion. The signage at Sandy Meadow.
Okay.
And talked about at a previous meeting, we needed the drone pictures from Keith's files. And did that work out?
Not so well.
Can I ask what 12 pictures you're talking about?
It was drone footage.
Oh, I have all the drone footage.
There we go. Okay.
Perfect.
Perfect. Thanks, well, hopefully then we were asking Hillary to check with Keith where they were because we didn't know where they were.
Yeah,
So on the signage, we need to choose the drone pictures, finish up, get a committee, small committee, finish up the project, get it sent in. They were all really anxious to do that. So can we, Rob was very interested in working on that. I know. Karen, are you, want to work on it or do you just want? to?
yeah, because I've actually got the software and the designs that I did, so I need to be able to help with that. And Rob certainly can come over here and we could work on it. But the sign we wanted to put at the trailhead, we might want to wait because we have to develop a map for that. And we certainly don't want to put that up before we decide whether the ADA trail is going to get extended and whether there's going to be some benches put along or memorial benches at those scenic outlooks we talked about. So we can do the other signs, but that one should wait.
So you're saying the big sign at the parking lot, we should wait? on?
Yes, yeah, because we first of all don't really have an accurate trail map for that we can size up to the right size, and we are going to hopefully change the trail. So it doesn't make sense to go and pay all the money to print a sign when we're probably going to be doing that work.
But we have the signs for the overlook. I'm just trying to remember, and I haven't looked at this in a few months. They meet your neighbors at Sandy Meadow, whatever that sign was about.
Meet the locals, yeah.
Meet the locals. There were plants and animals and insects. And
Yeah,
those are signs we can go ahead, but even if we don't know where to place them on the ADA trail, we know what the sign is gonna say. Am I right? on that?
right. That one's complete. I just need to add the bleeds in for that the printer spec'd out. And the other sign, the bigger sign, that's gonna kind of block off that sort of trail that we don't want people going on. Yeah, that needs the drone pictures or some other pictures. I wasn't so happy with the angle of perspective on the drone pictures. It was kind of from the wrong place, I think. It was from the parking lot and really with the sign at a certain aspect, the picture should have been from the same, because we're asking people to look over this and identify stuff from those pictures. So we might have to reconsider that a little bit, but those need to be added. I think there's one more plant that needs to be added, and then just the bleeds and technical stuff needs to be fixed. Adjusted for the printer specs, but we're really, really close.
Right. We really wanted to get something done this fall, so we know we're moving up ahead. on
Yeah,
that.
but we might actually need to find somebody else with a drone to take the pictures from the right angle.
Can I ask who this Rob Young, who is he? I don't know him.
He's the seventh member on our committee, but he wasn't today.
Okay, because that's who Keith said had the drone footage, but
Oh,
Karen,
yeah.
you have it.
Well, Rob has it too, I'm pretty sure, but I definitely have it.
Okay,
And
Thank you.
I certainly could put it on a flash drive or something so you guys could have it too. It's some big files.
I don't think I need it. I just didn't know who these people were.
The person.
Yeah.
Acted was from the Barnstable Extension Service. He had a-
Yeah,
Yeah,
Greg
Greg
Berman.
Yeah,
Greg Berman,
Yeah, I'm not sure Keith actually downloaded all of the pictures. But I did, and I had them on my Google Drive for a while, but took them off and I
Great.
have copies. So
perfect.
I have another drone person if we do need it. He's just not, we have to pay him. He's not unreasonable by any means, but
but we do have a little money in the conservation fund. And
it's like $100. I think he does it for. Don't quote me, but it's like right around that.
so I don't know if there's money in the conservation department budget, but we do have some money in the conservation fund that I'm pretty sure the Conservation Commission would approve $100 for drone.
Okay.
pictures.
Great.
Or maybe Kate, you could contact him and see if he'd be willing to do an on-site.
Okay. Should we run it by Rob first?
Right,
Is he-
Know the contact, so
Yeah.
so I will tell
Yeah.
Rob, well, you can reach out to Rob, Karen. and she can
Yeah.
get together. And then Kate has the contact for the drone.
Right. And we want to give very specific instructions as to angle of approach and what we need.
Right.
I was there when they did it, and he did stay in the parking lot. So you would say.
Yeah.
Trail.
Yeah.
with the-
Right. But even if you're launching from the parking lot, you can have the drone swing around and pick a different angle. So.
I was just an observer.
Yeah.
Fun to watch, but.
And I couldn't make it. So there we go.
If we can get the details that are necessary really clearly spelled out, that makes all the difference.
Yeah, agreed. And this guy has very quick turnaround in terms of his schedule. He's available quickly and he can put things, have it to us very quickly too. So
Yeah, and we might have more interesting pictures this time of year than when Greg was out, because
Okay,
there's still some greenery and things at this point, wasn't at that, so.
all right. Yeah, I think it'll be prettier now than it was in the winter. All right, so Karen and Rob will start, and Kate has the connection. The rest of us are willing to help. If there's any, if you need any help, ask us, please. And my other notes on the 88 trail extension, I'm going to include that in my email to Alex for him to gather that information. Whether it'll be AmeriCorps or town funds or CPA application. All right, so there we are on the CPA application for Sandy Meadow. I have down here too, the Higgins property. Hillary, we had a CPA application, which we've done nothing on. And it was for a, what's the title of it? Open Space Stewardship Program on the Higgins property. It was to set up a volunteer network where people would have a program on their cell phone that they could
Yep.
report. And we haven't progressed on that. And now with the problem with the access from, what's that side there, the west.
Mhm.
And I know there's less not usage by the cross-country team who used to run through because they could exit and make a loop back down Oak Leaf. In my mind, I was wondering, is this the time to start working on that or just shelve it until we have access issues.
I did talk about this with Alex because
Yeah, go ahead, please.
because we talked about this at our last meeting. And we talked about sort of an inspectional app that we could put onto cell phones where people could comment what they see while they're out. And so he has experience with GIS and he has some experience with people forms. So he was going to talk to Paul Lag about working to set up an app that might work. So we've talked about that.
Yeah, that's what we have. We have $5,900 to pay the programmer to set
Yeah.
up forms in PeopleSoft. So,
Yeah, so then we're on the same page there. He and I spoke about that, I think while we were out inspecting Wiley Park last week or the week before. So we've got that on the list.
and one of the reasons we didn't progress there, I think, is that there was some difficulty in figuring out how to set up a volunteer network, and we didn't have any staff support for a long time.
Yep, no, we're
I mean, zero.
it's on our list. It's on our
Yeah.
list. I mentioned it to Alex because I knew that's in, the ballywick of what he's real good at. So we're on to that one.
Just a note from the CPA standpoint, it's a project item list, and there's no hard, well, I can give the committee, an update. We don't have to, at some point, we have to act on it, or it needs to be returned to the open space CPA fund. But if there's something that gets worked, we can get an extension. So the money's there. Let's have.
Do you have a copy of the application that you can send to us?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we can.
okay, that would be great.
Do you want me to do that, Francis?
Yes, why don't you, please? Yes, because I'm looking at the date, it was November 10th, 2020, so I mean, and Joanna answered the question about how long they keep it open, but if we have.
Well, we could write a letter to the CPC committee and give them a little update on where we are and where we expect to go with this.
I think it's, we're going into we're in FY 2024. And so they'll start to ask, geez, 3
Yeah.
years. But that'd be great. Just a very brief something's coming soon.
So maybe somebody could kind of draft that we can look at it at the next meeting, maybe.
I can draft it, but I would need, I'd have to talk to Alex and see what his thoughts were, what he had access to. I mean, he has knowledge, you mentioned, experience with, I guess, and people from, but is he actually, I'm gonna cut to the core, is he actually gonna have the time to spend on this?
Well, I think it's going to be a collaborative effort, right? With Paul, who mans the people forms, and Alex telling him what he wants on it. I don't think it's super uber labor intensive from my understanding. I could be wrong, but.
Yeah, it's really just figuring out what he wants on the form and in the database, and then some kind of order maybe it's in, and then having the programmer do a draft and then come back and tweak.
Okay.
And a draft of the form and some reports, standard reports that we want from that. But yeah.
It sounds doable and we'd love to see it done. But we know that staff's job descriptions are very wide and very deep. And so that was my question is, so we'll try for this fall. I'll put a letter together. I'll contact Alex, give him a draft about what I understand. And then he can agree with it and, edit it. And then before we send it to CPA, and I'll have something for the September meeting for us to look at. And we'll get CPA. Okay, so that's where we are on that. Any other thoughts on CPA applications? Okay. Now Windmill Weekend is coming up the 9th. You'll be there from 10 to 4 on the Village Green. There's a large town committee tent and they present us with a table, 6-foot table, 2 chairs. The number of our spot is number 52. I will set it up. These are the things we have. We have an open space sign. We have, let's see, I wrote myself some notes about what we have. We have some pamphlets that we put out about the trails, believe it or not, people pick those up and take them with them. So I'm gonna have, I asked the office to make 20 more for those. We usually put out, we have a nice poster that Saul, and I worked on. That's good. Joanna, I sent you a note about ECF holdings. If you could just look at that email and just see if we have to update any of those numbers.
Yeah.
And then Rob has that sandwich board that he gave us to use last year. And so we had put together a very nice poster of your photos of migratory birds that we put on one side of the sandwich board. And people stopped and looked at it. It was very nice. And I kept it good all year. So I was thinking of using that again, if it's okay with you. Okay, thank you. Oh, and then we had a little pile of I don't have it with me, but living with coyotes. It's a double-sided, safety with coyotes in your neighborhood and, rules of coexistence. And so that's the type of things that we put out last year, and it was good. And we recruited Linda, so that's how successful we were. Kate recruited Linda, so that was excellent. And this year, the idea is that we talk up about become a friend of an open space. We just got this today, Hillary, and I haven't sent it. I sent it out to, did I send it to you? I think I just sent it to the group. Kate has put together a beginning flyer for what is a friend of open space. And essentially it's like walk the properties once a month, report back on what you see. This we think we need because we assigned ourselves, Hillary, we assigned all of ourselves properties for us to look at and walk, and we didn't have enough manpower. We weren't doing a good job as we had hoped with just our committee members. So we are looking for more support from the community to do a better job on that. Okay. So this is a, what do I want the word? A less formal volunteer opportunity than the one we're proposing with the app on the Higgins property. That was a more detailed one. And we've just begun to talk about this, so we haven't gone, this will be the first time you'll hear about it. And we haven't talked to whoever else we would need to talk to about. Did people get a chance to open up the email and look at Kate's file today? Anybody get a chance?
And just before we open it to feedback, at the beginning of the meeting, when it was just Linda and Francis, we were noting that we want to change, I want to remove the bullet point on the top right that says invasives that were removed. That was from old wording that I had when it was a more formal position that we were thinking of recruiting for. And then
That would be invasives that were noticed.
invasives that were noticed, exactly. And then on the visit summary form, also just clarify that as well, because we don't want them removing anything, but if they know about invasives, because some of these people, I still think we should ultimately go out with these friends on their first walk or two and talk about invasives and that, but you know, I think their main job, and I don't know, I want to make sure we're all on the same page with what we're hoping to get out of this person, but is to just, you know, keep an eye on any dangerous things like trees down in Wiley and that type of thing, and look out for trash or look out for new, you know, paths that are opening that shouldn't be there. Just like stuff that anyone can do and that they don't need an expertise to necessarily complete.
Right, let me see now if I can do this.
But I think we can keep the invasive language in there. We just shouldn't make it like a huge part of it.
So, I think I have to do the sharing.
Is the idea that the friend of the area would remove the invasive species, or is it just that they would report it?
Just report it if it's, you know, I don't know. I feel my thought was that they'd report it, and then, you know, if it's something new or it's like suddenly growing, like, you know, just kind of reporting on it, because obviously we know all of these sites have invasive species, but kind of just out of the ordinary stuff going on, or hey, it's getting so out of control, maybe we should have someone get in there.
Yeah. So, we thought we would put out these on the, talk to people at the Windmill Weekend. Now, we're not official about it. Do you think it's a good idea, just in general, before we start examining this? Is Devin there? Maybe he can help me with the sharing. Let's see.
Can you put something on the flyer to contact the conservation office if you're interested, or email the conservation office if you're
That was
interested?
one question.
Do you want me to share my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you have, let me see if it allows me to. Hold on. Oh, it's the host.
What we had was, Hillary, one of the things that the question was, contact us and learn more. And just as fillers, we put my name. But as I was looking at it, I think ideally it would be, well, it could be a committee member, or would it be better to be somebody in the, conservation agent? Or was this too much to ask them to do?
Well, I don't think it's like super labor intensive if they email their information. If they're interested, they email their information, and then we could invite them to an open space committee meeting where we could talk about what the job is. So essentially, the town would serve as the repository for the interested folks, and then we would invite them to a meeting to come and learn what the job is.
All right, now, can you see that up there?
Yeah.
Okay, see, this is the initial one, and Kate just put this together, and she said she's very open to discussions, since it's a new idea. And then the contact us and learn more is what I was talking about, Hillary.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I know we just put this up today, so we don't, it's something to think about. And even if we don't have it for Windmill Weekend, we'll have it for other events. Sometimes we have a table at the Turner Festival. And other things, so,
Francis, are you sure you want to put your personal phone number and email on that?
just block there, no, I question that for a couple of reasons, my name, and that is my cell phone number. And then secondly is it better going through the person on the town? I mean, this is an example of what it would look like, but this is not for publication.
Oh, she hit you in the eye with her name.
I would send it to the town just because it's easier to collect and store that information. And- I would send it to Alex because he's the conservation agent. All he's going to do is collect the information, send them back a quick email that says, thanks for your interest. We're going to schedule a meeting shortly to review, or I'll be back in touch with specific information. What area do you frequent the most? Or, like just to sort of figure out where people are geographically and where they go.
Right.
Yeah, and maybe ask them to share a little bit about their skill level in identifying plants or something.
Well-
You know, their experience.
On the land management plan that we worked on as a committee, which, was a couple of years old now, that has an addendum that has a list of invasives and pictures of invasives. So we do have things to give to people. They show an interest, and we can do some training too, like, I think it was Kate that said, if they show an interest, somebody from the committee walks them around that particular parcel and shows them the types of things we're looking for.
Yeah, I'm wondering though, if we identify, maybe we'll get some volunteers with more experience that we could pair up with people with less and send them out together.
Right, it's building, it's starting to build a way to have more people involved in stewardship of these damn properties.
And the Dog Owners Association had offered to help with stewardship of some of the properties that they use often. So it might make sense to send a copy of this to Ed.
Right, because they're there in Wiley Park. I'm assuming this is gonna be taken up by people who frequent a particular location, so they're there anyway. And that would be probably a good source for being a friend of Wiley Park. And all right, so that you got.
I have something to say about that, Francis.
Go ahead, Saul, please.
Oh, Kate, I think this is a lovely piece that you created here with this. It's really colorful and very clear. And I'd like to see our committee, if we're going to be involved and invested, have the feedback come to our committee and then coordinated it with Alex, so that we're involved and we develop a sense of who's interested in what. Who are the people that are interested, and we identify people that are interested by virtue of it.
But I think we can still do that if it comes to Alex, that he can share it back with Francis and the committee. And it might just be logistically easier to have him be the first contact.
I just think it cuts down on your work as a volunteer, because he's paid staff and he's certainly capable to collect information. And that's why I suggested, we then invite all these people to your meeting so you can talk to them and interact with them and see who they are and understand where they live and what they want to do. So that was just what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think we could give them the choice of coming to a meeting and discussing, or having one of us take a walk with them at a one-on-one, depending on, how they saw that. Okay. So
I just want to say one more thing about it. As I was putting the wording together and playing with it and trying to make it not too wordy, but still informative, I do really feel like with this level of the program that we're trying to put out there, the simpler we keep it, the more likely we are to get volunteers, especially initially. So it's more like, are you already out loving walking and hiking? Like, you can give us feedback on these specific spaces, or maybe you can visit these that you don't know about. Get people involved without it being too formal. And then if it really becomes a big program where there's a lot of people interested and there are people who have specialties, that'll come out anyway. And, they'll put that stuff in their feedback form. And that's why I think we can still leave the invasive language in there. But I just think we should definitely be open and not make it too intimidating with all of, with focusing on that too much. More just like, please walk our space and report back and help pick up trash, because all of that is super helpful and gets people involved.
Yeah, Kate, I love your design, but you just said, are you walking these trails? And what you just said now
Mhm.
isn't really reflected in this piece. That, and it would be nice if you could take some of that, which is really inviting,
Mhm.
and put it in here rather than, that it's more inviting and encouraging for people to get in touch with that language that you just said.
Yeah. Okay. I can play with the wording a little bit, and if any of you guys want to toy with it too and send me some thoughts, I'm totally open to it.
So your suggestion, Karen, is under what is a friend of open space? Do you, something like, do you like to walk the trails? And are you a nature lover, or are you a walker, dog walker, whatever? Yes, so you begin it with that kind of sentence.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
then,
that general idea, yeah.
yeah, right,
I like
Be-
that.
Because you could encourage people that way to incorporate this as part of their regular routine.
Definitely.
And-
I'm smiling because I played with that too. I like overthought this, like I had every
Yeah.
iteration of this, so that I have some thoughts that I can.
Yeah. But sometimes when you speak the ideas out loud, they come out differently than when you're writing.
Completely. Yes.
Yeah, but you did a lot of work and it looks really great.
Thank you. And I have to say, my husband helped me with his Photoshop skills too. I have to.
right, so on this one. On the email that I'm gonna be sending to Alex, which is getting longer and longer and longer, Hillary. To talk
It's okay. It's okay.
about this, and that we would put his name and his contact information. And anyone, now you all have this in your emails today, if you want to fool around with what is that first paragraph and send Kate some ideas of the way you would word it. And then Kate too, I'd be happy to talk with you, in a little bit with the new ideas and make it more friendly or inviting, whatever word you want to use there. Okay, so if anybody has any ideas, please send them to Kate, and then we'll be thinking about that and brainstorming. Karen, you're a good writer. So
Yeah, but I think my plate is full and a little over. And in fact, because I really have to go slowly, I get tired really easily. And in fact, I was just going to tell you, I've reached my limit and I'm going to jump off the meeting.
nice to see you, dear. Take care.
Okay. Yeah, and if anybody needs to follow up on anything with me, you know how to get in touch. So,
Thank you very much. Take care of yourself. It's good to see you.
yeah, lovely seeing everybody.
Thank you.
Bye, Karen.
All right.
Take care.
So am I reading the consensus right that we're not gonna put this probably on the table the 9th? You may not get that far. It's may or may not get on the table at 9th, depending on how far we get. And then it'll go on the next outer meeting, but I think the idea is really worth pursuing and thinking about. Right? Let's see, that's about, oh, Windmill Weekend. Is anybody, Joanna emailed that she could do 10 to 11. I will do the setup. And Linda here just volunteered for 11 to 12.
And I just emailed the group. I can do 2 to 3. Sorry, 2 to 3.
You do 2 to 3? That's great. All right, so we got 12 to 1, 1 to 2. I'm happy to do one of those.
I would come by for closing.
You want to do the 3 to 4? You mean 3 to 4?
Sure.
All right. I mean, we don't have to stay to 4. I mean, you can sit there for a little half an hour and then we can start closing up at 3:30. That's fine. Okay, that way we can do that. Okay, so Kate said 2 to 3, so that's 12 to 2. All right. All right, I can take one of those. Maybe Rob can take one, or otherwise I'll take 2. Okay, so we're all set with people. So I guess I'll send out the schedule. Joanna 10, Linda 11, me or Rob 12 and 1, Kate 2 to 3, and solid 3. Good. All right. And that's that. Okay, any old or new business? Okay. Seeing none on the calendar, the next meeting date is September 20 at 2023 at 3 o'clock.
September 20th.
That's our regular. This was.
Okay.
Scheduled 1 week back because of quorum.
3 o'clock.
And that be that, and congratulations, Joanna, on staying awake to jet lag. On the meeting, okay, a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
Right, second,
Second.
Francis, yes. Linda. Say yes. Yes, Kate,
Yes.
Joanna,
Yes.
oh. okay,
Yes.
meeting adjourned, and I got like 4:07, okay.
Good night.